Let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever taken time out of your day to sit down and say, what really does drive people to make a buying decision? Have you personally ever sat down and assessed, hey, why have I actually bought from so-and-so person in the past? And a lot of you guys may say, oh, content this, brand this, specific thing this. Yeah. But if you are actually being marketed to in a specific way, that person probably did something specifically in which he almost psyoped you against your own will into believing something that you may have not believed before, into actually making that buying decision to go through and show up with your card in hand. But the funny thing is most people don't actually know why people buy. This is super important. And I think you all need to understand that there's three main reasons why people buy. And a little back when, we hosted a challenge, and on the second day of the challenge, I go into basically teach this principle. But the principle, I'm not gonna spoil it, is very interactive. So you're gonna find a lot of value in it if you start it and you actually stick to the end, because the end ties to the beginning. Alrighty? So just remember, there are three reasons why people buy, and you need to remember this in anything you do. And also, once you start noticing this, you'll notice how specific people are actually doing it better than others, and probably catching your attention into making you want to go purchase from them. Alrighty? If you found value in it, drop it in the comments down below. And having said that, let's hop into it. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, not another freaking presentation, but before we get tactical on the stuff that we actually did when going to market, I need to let you all in on a little secret. You all have been lied to. You see, no matter how many coaching programs you buy, whether it's build and release, the social funnel, school funnel, Facebook group DMs, IG DMs, the VSL call funnel, growth operating, all of it, if you don't understand what I'm going to talk about today, then you will almost always struggle to see success. You see, throughout my 5 years being a business, I bought from programs from names you all probably know. Names like Justin Saunders, Ravi, Joe Kaplan, Kai Bax, Iman Gadzi, Cole Gordon, the list goes on. And some of those are great programs. Almost no program talks about the core principles that I want to quickly share with you all today. Principles that are universal, that most people don't understand or know when garnishing attention. What I'm going to talk about today is sacred yet somehow forgotten marketing principles that has changed mine and others' lives. And if you allow it, it can change yours too. But before we do so, ladies and gentlemen, I have a few requests. One, as Hormozy says, this is going to be the best presentation you've ever seen, the worst presentation you've ever seen, or somewhere in between. That is my promise. Two, disclaimer, I cursed, okay? I repent and ask for forgiveness on Sundays, but if it offends you guys, then plug those cheeks, twinkle toes, because what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to feel what I'm going to say to you guys on the inside of your fucking chest, okay? Three, I know your attention is valuable, and most people's attention spans are shorter than you could say, ha, spit on that dang. So we will be moving quickly today, so do your best to keep up. And three, I asked any of y'all if you knew me for a reason. You see, clients appreciate me for two reasons. One, I'm empathetic and love them, and I remind them of that every single day. Clients can probably attest to that in the chat. But more importantly, two, I am the asshole they need. You see, because I genuinely give a shit, I'm blunt, direct, call people out on their shit, and hold them accountable. You see, I know this is the better looking Chris Brown show. You look good, Serge. I know this is the better looking Chris Brown show. But this is Cocoa Butters fucking Serge's episode. Okay? So everybody turn your fucking camera on.
That's insane.
I know Serge said it from the get-go. There's literally 28 of you guys out of the 150 of y'all here still without your fucking camera on. Or I'm sorry, only 26 of y'all have your camera on. Turn your fucking camera on, all right? Class is about to begin, and I want you all focused on the few quick points I'm going to cover today before me and Ty show you the tactic. Show up with intention. How you guys do one thing is how you do everything, all right? Remember that shit. You paid to be here, so fucking act like it. Last but not least, remember this apple, okay? Remember the apple. It's going to play a vital role in y'all's success. With that being said, buckle up. Class has begun. Today, I'm going to share with you some principles that most business owners either do not know or have forgotten. And although these are more so known in tangent for marketing and sales, these principles can be used in just about any live communication you have with anybody. But first, guys, let's address the elephant in the room. Let's address the elephant. Because if you're anything like me, you're probably thinking, who the hell is Cocoa Butter Serge? Who the hell is this buff white dude who looks like Superman? And who is this Lebanon male model. Hi, Sam, you look good, brother. And why in the hell should I listen to anything that these geek ass losers have to say, as I know you guys are just here for the better looking Chris Brown? And it's a fair question, right? And although I cannot speak for Superman and I can't speak for the Lebanon male model, let Cocoa Butter Surge give you some quick context. You see, not to kill the mood, as a child, I come from a drug-induced household. At an early age, me and my two younger brothers were almost finalized into foster care. I was raised a good chunk of my time actually in a primarily Nigerian-based household. Shout out to the Awarzins. By the age of 8, I was having to dress, cook, clean, and orchestrate walking my two brothers to school, rain, sleet, snow, or shine. It keeps, every time someone joins, it's not letting me skip. And eventually, as time goes on, I ended up growing up too fast. While in the midst of looking for a way to make money to provide for myself, I ended up losing it all. Okay. 9 years ago, I got arrested, guys. Not once, but this dumbass got arrested twice. And I caught a felony. All right. Don't hate the do. I know that's what y'all thinking is, what in the fuck is this guy's haircut? Are you dead serious? Don't hate the do. Okay. It was in style back then. At 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, I had 13 SWAT team members raid my brand new house and put me in the cuffs. And if you guys have never seen what it looks like, this was just my room. And still to this day, I don't know why, oh no. Let me go back. I don't know why they decide to take every piece of clothes off the hanger, but they do for some freaking reason. Oh no, I'm sharing. 1 second.
Oh no.
Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. Share. Bada bang. Bada boom. Cool. And I don't know why they take all the clothes off the hangers and throw them, but they do. So you can imagine what my house looked like. Now, I know what some of y'all are thinking, okay? Because I just shared that. I know for those of you guys who don't know me at all, that's what you're thinking. And rest assured, ladies and gentlemen, your wife and kids, they're fine with me. I'm a lover. I'm not anything crazy. And if you're anything like some of you guys others, you may be thinking, why in the fuck is he sharing that? Why? And it's for these few reasons. You see, after that, I gave up on life. My family disowned me. My girl had left me. I ended up having to leave college and move 5 hours back home to my father's in a tiny spare bedroom. And because I value y'all's attention, long story short, I basically gave the fuck up, right? For the next 18 months, I was, to simply put it, a bitch. I had so much pity on myself. I hated myself. I took literally up until that point hundreds of steps forward just to take thousands of steps backward. But then a miracle happened. You see, what I failed to tell you was during my childhood at the age of 12, me and my two brothers, on the drop of a dime, literally within 12 hours, not even, disappeared. We moved to Texas from North Carolina. But in doing so, we left our mother without her knowing. We disappeared for good reasons, and although that's a story for another time, something absolutely fucking crazy happened 10 years later. She found us, and we found her. 19 hours away, multiple states away, by some miracle or God's will, she found us. And she was, for simplicity's sake, just doing much better. But here's where everything genuinely changed for me, okay? She wasn't just doing better, she refused to fucking give up. 10 years later, 19 hours away, multiple states away, she was working 7 days a week, 12-hour days, doing man-like construction, like manual labor at 50 years old. No pension, no 401k, no insurance, no fucking nothing. Just to get a glimpse of hanging in there to be in our lives just one more day. Just one more day. And that's when everything changed. And that's the point I want to get across today. You see, why did I share this with you guys? It's my personal shit. Why would I share that? You know, a lot of you guys, even on the team, don't know that. Because this so-called thing, life is tough. It will beat the absolute fuck out of you. But you have to be delusional enough to say to yourself, I don't know how long I can make it, but I know I can make it at least just one more day. You see, I truly gave up on life. 18 months in, and I didn't want anything to do with it anymore. And God willing, this amazing woman, by the grace of God, searched us down for 10 years to then bust her ass all fucking day to do man-like labor just to stay in our lives. And that, ladies and gentlemen, changed everything for me. And as I sat there as a young man, being a lazy ass, punk ass bitch, crying about my situation, I gave up over some bullshit. But you see, for most of us, all we need is hope. We need light at the end of the tunnel to be able to see what has been unseen. And at that moment, 18 months in when I gave up, that was that light for me, my version of hope. I thought to myself, if she can fucking do it, I can do it. And guess what? I did. You see, up until that point, all my jobs had been sales jobs, tech sales, mortgage, insurance, D2D. And I knew if I had a felony, there was a possibility that I wouldn't be able to get another job again. So I had the brilliant idea that most of us entrepreneurs had, which is what? Randomly, fuck it. I'm going to start my own company. Let's go. But the question at the time was, what the hell do I start? And lo and behold, that night as I'm scrolling on social media, which is why I always tell people, you know, the world has a weird way of working itself out. That night as I'm scrolling on social media, guess whose ad pops up on my feed? And those of you guys who are vets who've been in the game will know this. Standing in front of his bookshelf in his Lambo, the one and only Mr. Ty Lopez. Talking about some crazy SMA thing, how you can make millions of dollars. And one long webinar later, the light bulb went off. What I came to realize was whether it was my business or any other business, every business will always need sales, but most importantly, marketing, which is why SMMA and this whole world will never be saturated. So at that point in 2019, I decided I'm starting a marketing company, baby. Let's go. And Cortana was born. And because I value y'all's attention to keep it short, you see, I'm no stud like the better looking Chris Brown, right? He's studly. I wasn't able to get my company to 600K a month. But if you were to tell me 6 years ago that this felon who gave up on life would end up making 84K in a month and eventually buy his dream car, buy his wife her dream car, and afford the fancy watches, and at the same time, be able to work with massive companies like Love and Pebble, who we got in the Shark Tank, Acta, who we got acquired by Hydrodrug, Nitra, who we helped raise a $68 million Series A, OneTex, who we helped get backed by Y Combinator. But most importantly, if you have seen the immense amount of case studies that the better looking Chris Brown has dropped recently, the CS team and I have been able to help hundreds of other agencies and coaches just like you. If you were to tell me that shit 6 years ago, boy, I'd call you fucking crazy. But now, let's address the other elephant in the room that some of you guys may be thinking. Serge, I hope you're comfortable, brother. What a prick. So egotistical. Why in the hell is this guy flexing on me? Fuck this guy. And it's quite the opposite. You see, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not shit. I share that with you today for these reasons. If I can do it, you can do it too. As I always remind clients, there's more unqualified people doing things that y'all are more qualified to do. Just believe in yourself and allow yourself to fucking fail forward. I'm no different. Serge is no different. We are literally just like y'all. And again, and I would argue I'm worse. And I just want to be y'all's reminder today that you can make it happen. If you're delusional enough to believe, you actually can make it happen. And having said that, there's actually a deeper meaning behind why I share that today, which actually has to do with what I want to talk about today. You see, my first 2 years in business, I fell on my face multiple times. I was overworking myself every single day. I was sending thousands of emails, Facebook DMs, IG DMs, LinkedIn DMs, all of it, only to be left with Jack Dilly Poo Poo at the end of the month. Everything about getting clients or booking calls was so inconsistent and unpredictable. And for 2 years, guys, 2 fucking years, I struggled. I made money multiple times only to lose it all multiple times and eventually went 15K in debt on an Amex. 15K in debt after making $10,000, $20,000 a month to lose it all twice to go 15K in debt on my Amex. Twice. But here's the kicker. I struggled those first 2 years because of the advice I was given from big name mentors like Iman Gadzi and Ty Lopez. I simply asked them this. I see people running ads. What are those? yo, should I run those? Hear me out. Although it was not bad advice, I kid y'all not, they both told me not to run ads until I was at 20K a month. So what did I do? Like any fucking rookie in the game, I listened. And for the next 2 fucking years, I struggled. There was a point in time where I had to go back and get a 9 to 5, 2 different times, just so I can pay the bills and fund the business. But you wouldn't believe what happened next. Okay. I don't know what changed this day, but I had an epiphany because I had seen, this is a super important lesson for everyone. So please, if you're not paying attention, pay attention. I had seen another Ty Lopez ad, and that same day I saw an Emon ad. And something in me just clicked, and I started to pay real close attention. Like, stick with me for a second. I started paying really close attention to everyone's ads at that point. And you wouldn't believe what I began to realize. You see, everyone was promoting that the next best thing was via sales, IG outbound, mass email, LinkedIn outbound, Facebook group outbound, Twitter outbound, Facebook group funnels, all of it. But yet, everybody was promoting that with ads. And so I started to pay real close attention. And the more that I did, the more I realized that every big name who became a big name and had all the market share were the ones running the ads. Like Nick Cosman, Ravi, Tanner Chittister, Alex Hormozy, Dan Henry, Billie Jean, Ty Lopez, Alex Becker, etc. And that's when the fucking light bulb went off. At that moment, word for word, I said to myself, fuck me twice and throw me some Oreos. I need to run ads. I finally stopped listening to what the market was saying and I started doing what the market was doing. And from there on out, I went to YouTube University and I forced myself to become the what? The media buyer. At that moment, I told myself I was willing to lose out on $900 every single month, forcing myself to figure this shit out, even if it took a year. And guys, $900 a month to me back then was a lot of money, which means I unfortunately had to tell my wife, no more Starbucks, no more venti vanilla sprinkled cupcake donut and pineapple covered Fruit Loop filled with 12 million pumps or whatever the fuck else goes into her drink. And let's just say she wasn't happy. But boy, was it worth it. Because within 60 days of trial and error, I went from getting a few calls a month to well over 30. And the best part, predictably and automatically. And that is when everything changed for me. That was a sole reason in getting my company to 84K a month and a good reason why I'm even here with CA speaking to you all today. Okay. And that, ladies and gentlemen, leads me in to lesson 1. You see, before starting this presentation, I knew 2 things to be true. 1, everyone's attention spans are fucking fried. No matter if the thing today was the most important thing to learn, or if it was free, $9 or even $100, I knew no matter what, for most of y'all, 10 minutes in, cameras would start shutting off and phones would be pulled out. I'll give you a fucking perfect example. Right when Serge started this, what did he say? Turn your cameras on. There was 141 of you guys in here. There are 28 cameras on. 2 of those cameras weren't even actually people in front of them. Out of those 26 people, there were 7 of you guys looking down, twiddle-twaddling on your phone, scrolling. We're building a business live, right? And some people aren't even paying attention, right? So I knew that coming into this shit, that most people's attention spans, 5 minutes in, you're clocked out. I'm gonna watch the recording, right? But why? Why? Because 2, most of you guys have absolutely no fucking clue who I am. Why would you pay attention? I don't blame you, right? So I knew out of the gate, I had to catch your attention somehow in some way. And you see, most strangers online will give you their attention, their info, book a call, and buy based on 3 reasons. And I hope you guys are paying attention. You're not just on your phone because these are important. Which creates a 4th reason, and that ultimately and subconsciously alters the 5th reason. And because I already knew that prior to this presentation, I thought to myself, how could I teach you all these principles in a way where you could fully grasp how important they are? And in that moment, I had an idea. What better way to teach you a lesson than to use the lesson on you? Did any of you guys catch it? Let me let you guys in on a little secret. For the last 5 to 10 minutes, I just used the first lesson that I wanted to teach you guys all today on you. Remember how I said people will give you their attention, book a call, and buy based on 3 reasons? Even though I knew I was short on time and needed to be quick about it, I just used 2 of those 3 reasons on you. Shocker, shocker. Because like Hormozy did with the Leads book, what better way to teach you a lesson than to use it on you? You see, I would argue up until this point, I have more of y'all's attention right now and tuned in had I just started rambling out of the damn gate. I would argue that a good chunk of y'all could actually recite a lot of the small details from start to finish that I just mentioned briefly ago, simply because of how I intrinsically made you want to pay attention. Like I bet right now, if I asked you how much I went into debt, how many times, on what brand credit card, who saved my life, and even though I mentioned it once with no pictures, if I had brothers or sisters, which do I have? I bet most of y'all can answer. Not all of you guys, but I bet most of you guys. But why? Having said that, welcome to class. I'm your professor, Cocoa Butter Surge. Let's talk about it. Before we talk about the 3 reasons, can anybody tell me in the chat what I did at the very beginning to pre-frame you and attempt to garnish your attention? Let me know in the chat. Again, guys, I'm making this interactive. You're not just going to sit here and just watch us or watch me present. I'll give you 15 seconds. What did I do at the very beginning to pre-frame you to try to get your attention? No. Surge beeps pop stars. Cursed. Okay. Not yet, you guys. You're getting close, but someone mentioned one of them. Let's go. 1, I called you out exactly for what some of you guys are thinking. You guys saw a fucking deck pull up. You're like, oh my God, a presentation, VSL. No, dude. Who's this guy? Fuck this. I don't want to see the same thing again, right? 2, because I knew that, I then pre-framed you that everything I was going to cover was what no one ever talks about. And this is why you won't see success if you don't actually implement the things that I'm going to talk about, right? I pre-framed the initial thought from number 1. 3, I was abrupt and blunt. No one ever actually is. Even though I meant it, I said, turn your fucking cameras on, right? Blunt, direct, trying to get your attention, trying to hook you in. Whoa, why is he screaming at us like that, right? 4, comedic. I tried to make this as engaging as possible. That's why there's Cocoa Butter Surge and the better looking Chris Brown, right? 4 or 5, I opened a loop without closing it yet. Stay tuned. The apple, I made you guys want to think, whoa, hold on, what the fuck? What's the apple about? Why? What's that have to do predicated on our success, right? And now that I had some of y'all's attentions hooked in, how could I do my best to keep it? And that leads me into the first lesson, which is what makes people buy. Guys, let me get a sip of water. Before we do, I didn't lose you guys yet. Have I? Are you guys falling asleep? Are you fucking bored? Give me a 1 in the chat if you're still here. Don't fall asleep on me. There's 140 of you. I better see at least 115. Thank you. All right, you're not asleep. You're not asleep. That's a good sign. It's a good sign. It's a good sign. Guys, we're almost done. Stick with me. This is wrapping up short, and then I'll bring on how we get in the tactical stuff. Lesson 1, what makes people buy? There are 3 core reasons why people will give you their attention and buy, which is stemmed from a 4th internal reason, which ultimately alters the 5th subconsciously in which they pull the trigger. The 3 things. Does anyone want to guess in the chat what those 3 things are? Clients, do not answer this because you guys hear me talk about this all the time on calls. 20 seconds. What are the 3 core reasons in which people will give you their attention, info, and buy? There were some few people up above on the previous question that answered this. Those are not wrong answers, but those are like features to like the overarching like a vehicle. Let's run through it. New and different. Okay. Can you make your thing seem new, even if it is not? 2, undeniable proof. And 3, story relatability. Your story. Okay. Let's talk about 1, new and different. It is human nature that, especially in the entrepreneur paradigm, we are always chasing the next shiny thing. In a saturated market, when everyone is shouting the same thing, people want the new thing that they think will save them from their problems. It's the reason, mute your mics if your mic's not muted. It's the reason why TikTok agencies blew up, AI is blowing up, the social funnel blew up, why school is blowing up. But most importantly, why most of you guys are here. Oh my God. Right? Remember this, new is better than better. The more you can make your thing sound different, the better. In marketing and on sales calls, the caveat, it's one of the hardest things to do. Okay. Now let's talk about 2 and 3, which are the points that I used on you guys. Okay. Undeniable proof and story relatability. 2, in a marketplace where everybody is shouting offers from the rooftop, the person with undeniable proof, not just proof, undeniable proof wins the game. You see, I knew when presenting, if I couldn't give you all a reason to internally validate me as someone worth listening to, the information was as good as poo-poo, and you would not have listened, would you? Not really, right? So within the process, I did what? I showed you proof on how I scaled my own company, showed you some of the massive companies I helped, and reminded you of the case studies of the other agencies and coaches that we have helped just like you, right? So that internally, in that moment, you thought, oh shit, maybe this guy is someone worth listening to, right? Hopefully it's making sense. And last but not least, I would argue one of the most important ones, story/relatability. You see, storytelling is the best form of not just communication, but selling. And don't just take it from me, but take it from the greats like Steve Jobs, who has actively talked about this. Sabri Subri, who talks about this all the time. Patrick Bet-David talks about this all the time, and it's in his second book or first book. It actually does this so well in his podcast. Every answer he answers with it's a story. It just hooks you in, right? It's a known core marketing and sales fundamental known by thousands of the greats across the globe. And the best form of storytelling is what? Being vulnerable. It's called the hero's journey. Okay. Now, I hope you guys are remembering all this. I promise you, most people don't. Serge does this really well. Most people don't do this. And you guys will always struggle if you don't understand. You can hop from fucking coaching program to coaching program, IGDMA, social funnel. If you don't understand this, you will never see success. Okay. To show people that you have been in their shoes and through a unique way, you found a way out. I was a felon. You guys are better than me. What did I try to do? Remind you that I was in your shoes, if not in a worse pair of shoes. But I figured it out, you know? You see, people buy from people they like and relate to, contingent you're worth buying from. And some of you all may give pushback. So to validate this, let's do the extreme. Let's do the opposite. No matter how good someone's product is, if you watch them online and they were just a dickhead, brag too much, just like, I'm talking from personal experience. There's some great people I wanted to buy from. I hated them as a person, at least what they personified themselves online. And if you absolutely hated them, they were a dick, egotistical, not ethical, and 9 times out of 10, you probably wouldn't buy, right? So the more authentic, genuine, vulnerable, and open you are, the more of the right people you attract. And to hammer this point in, I actually have a fucking great example to give you guys. Well, not example, just a way to hammer this in. 4 days ago, when I was putting this presentation together, I made a post on my Instagram, which is actually my mugshot. And I said, just a reminder, 9 years ago, I caught a felony and lost everything. If I can do it, you can do it too. And anytime I always talk about that, I always get so much love, responses, DMs. And one guy DM'd me, and he's actually somewhat super successful, like doing over 100K a month. He's older. And he's like, hey man, I got a personal question for you. He was like, I have a similar story. 8 years ago, I got sober, but I've never actually shared my story because I thought it would hurt more than would help. And I've had a few people tell me I should start telling my story. And this was my response to him. And I want to hammer this in. This is 4 days ago. You're doing yourself and other people a disservice by not sharing it. People buy from people they like and can relate to. In a world where social media, everyone tries to seem perfect, the person who can genuinely show that you've been in their shoes and that if you can do it, they can too, is the person who wins. The best form of selling is storytelling. The best form of storytelling is to be vulnerable and to showcase to people that you're just a normal dude. You're not special, so that people can relate to you. The minute I started being vulnerable, the people who wanted to get close and work with me almost 10x. Don't be selfish. There's someone out there that needs to hear it. And by you not sharing it, you're potentially letting someone continue down a road that they don't need to be on, suicide or whatever. Don't be selfish. We all have our own story, no better or worse. No one's perfect, and everybody tries to make it seem that way. Show them that you're no different than them. You're just a normal guy who figured it out. Watch what happens. Okay. And so what did I do this entire first half of the presentation? I just told you a story, my story, right? On how I gave up on life. Some not so good parts of it, right? To remind you guys that I'm just human. I'm literally no fucking different than you, just like y'all. And that if I can somehow do it, you can 100% do it too. And I could be wrong in saying this, but I would bet my ass in that moment when I was talking about it, and maybe this one too, since we're bringing it back to light, you had maybe the slightest sense of fire or inspiration lit under your ass that says, he's right, bro. I can fucking do this. Why can't I not? right? I can make this shit happen. Because if the felon who literally gave up on life can, why can't you? So the moral of the story, don't be afraid to be vulnerable inside your story. And marketing, sales, YouTube, emails, in person, it's what will actually help differentiate you. Okay. Now let's talk about the fourth point that is stemmed from the third. The fourth reason is the intrinsic thought that someone will have that leads to them moving further in the sales process when you bring it to light, whether it's the ad, the VSLs, emails, etc. Let me give you guys an example. Everyone turn your cameras on. C18 too. I'm not moving on until I see a lot of cameras. Let me pull the chat up. Am I still sharing?
Yep.
What the fuck? Hold on. Yeah, everyone turn your camera on. Cool. Let's rock and roll. If I were to pull up this QR code right now, what would happen? Would you scan it? Maybe you would. Maybe you wouldn't. But I bet now you're thinking, wait, is there actually something on the other side of this QR code? Maybe there is. Maybe there isn't. But what if I put a 10-second timer? You see, I knew if you're anything like me, before creating this presentation, that most of you all slowly but surely, one by one, just as I expected, not everyone, but a handful of y'all, would pick up your phone, point your phone to your camera screen, and scan it. Right? Now, here's the kicker, and I was hoping I can get the CEO, but I didn't get the CEO. What if I told you that anybody could have guessed that I would have scanned it, that you all would have scanned it, even though I didn't tell you to do so, right? Why? Because I'm presenting to you guys. This presentation is for y'all. But let me ask you guys a better question. Why would people who knew I was presenting, who knew that I was going to talk to them today, or talk about this today, who this presentation isn't for on our own internal CA team, pull up their phone and scan it? Okay? So that is the lesson I want to make. Does anyone want to guess what the fourth is? What thought was created? Put in the chat. Okay. John and Matthew, you got it, bro. Oh, there you go. Let's go. Curiosity. Okay? Curiosity. Why would anyone give you their info or even time? Because if you tell a story, show proof, or something in a unique way, they are now curious. And if you give them just enough, you'll psychologically force them to want to know more. Think of TV shows like Breaking Bad. Every episode ended leaving you needing to want to continue watching, right? It works the same way with marketing, or for some of you guys, maybe Surge, I don't know, getting a chance to date the BBLs. Who knows? I'm not saying this, y'all. I'm just saying it's a possibility. And last but not least, what ends up happening as time goes on, you ultimately lead to altering this subconscious internal fifth concept within people that is actually the trigger into them buying. And although this was a relatively short presentation and I couldn't go deep into it, I used this on you earlier, and Serge actually mentioned this. So let's see if you guys actually paid attention. You see, earlier, remember how I said I struggled for 2 years? How I was doing outbound like everyone else, but that I went 15K in debt twice because I couldn't book calls and close deals consistently. But then how I noticed what? Everyone was promoting their thing with ads. And noticed all the guys that were taking all the market share relatively quickly were what? All the ones running ads. And I had what? An epiphany. An epiphany that made me say, fuck me twice and throw me some Oreos. I need to run ads. And that once I did, everything changed for me. You see, I mentioned that part intentionally, but why? Because besides the storytelling, the proof, the curiosity, I knew I needed to ultimately do my best to quantify altering this fifth core concept internally within you all, right? And although it was short, I was like, how can I do my best to at least try whatever means necessary to do it. What is the actual trigger into people making people actually want to buy? What are you actually changing within them? Let's see if y'all paid attention to Serge's, because I didn't even know Serge was gonna say it, and Serge said it. So, you guys, y'all. Okay. We did have some people that paid attention. We did have some people. Serge, the people paid attention to you, brother. Oh shit. Let's go. Belief. Okay. I needed to do whatever I could in the shortest amount of time possible to change your belief around running ads, that no matter what you've heard of them, or even if you tried using them and they didn't work, that they do indeed work. People ultimately buy because you changed their belief around something. I mean, think about it. Newsflash, twinkle toes. Why are most of you guys even here? Why are so many people at a rapid rate buying from Search? Because we changed your beliefs. Your beliefs that the normal agency and consulting model is dead, which it is, and that the build and release is ultimately the best business model to be in, which it is. Like I said, I'm Cocoa Butter Serge, and welcome to class. Now, before I pull up, let's move on to lesson 2, which is accelerating go-to-market success. GTM is just a tech abbreviation for go-to-market. Before we show you the tactics and I bring up Superman, really quickly, what I want to do is walk you guys through a quick 2-minute training. Because when you're going to market and you're thinking about, creating content, creating ads, a lot of the stuff, there's a lot of things that I experience with clients that are just so surface level that they don't truly compartmentalize behind the scenes, right? So let's do a quick 2-minute lesson so you guys can understand how to think about marketing angles, okay? Accelerating go-to-market success. Now, before I bring on Superman to walk you all through how we think about and what we did tactically when researching and going to market, I want to do a quick 4-minute training with you all live. You see, what most people forget to realize or don't even realize at all is that there are different avatars within your avatar, okay? What do I mean? Together, this is a group discussion, whatever you want to call it. Let's all collectively pretend for a moment that we need to advertise this drill, okay? What hooks or marketing angles would we need to advertise to sell people this drill, whether it's pain points, desires, pleasure points, etc. Just fire them in the chat and I'll give you 2 examples just as something to kind of get an idea on, right? How could we market this drill? I'll give you 20 seconds. Just drop your things in the chat. Think about it. What can we do? One could be like, want less tools, no more hand turning, right? Yo, get a drill. If you want to get the job, hey, are you someone you want to use the drill? You want to get the job done faster? Save time. Nice. Sexy shelf. Nice. Okay. Tired of using your hand. Nice. Efficiency. Find married, do-it-yourself repairman. Okay. I like that one. There we go. Long lasting. Okay. Nice. All right. Reliable and quick. We're done. Reduce. Okay. Drills into any wall. Something related to. Oh, Ismail. I like that one, bro. I like that one a lot. All right, let's run through it. So obviously I just pulled up some quick examples. I want to prove a point. Want less tools, no more hand turning. Get the job done faster. What else can we do? We can do make your home feel like a home, right? Ergonomics, the comfort of use. Longer run times, making them feel like they're the man of the house, right? Do-it-yourself woman, right? Bonding with son, okay? Now, let me ask you guys another question. If you guys were clients, were on my coaching call when I talked about this, we did the training, do not answer. Which one is the most important? What'd you think? Don't be shy. What'd you think? Okay. Good answers. 6 and 8. Okay, 2 or 4, 6, depends on the avatar, 2. Okay. Good answers. They're all the same. Why in the hell would I need to tell someone that they need to bond with their son if all they want is a drill because their wrist hurts? Okay. And so at the end of the day, what you guys all need to remember and realize is that every day, all you are doing is you're sending marketing messages and love notes to the marketplace. And all we're trying to do is the person who wins the game is the person who answers this question the best. If you're on my coaching call, clients, don't answer this. Can anybody guess what the question is we are trying to ask the person we are trying to market to? What are we trying to invoke? sales calls, marketing, all of it. Who am I selling to? Who is my dream client? What is your pain? Close, motion, kinda. Why should you carry desired outcome? Not quite, not quite, not quite. Let me let you guys in on the secret, okay? Ready? Super simple. Remember this. Is this how you feel? Is this how you feel? Okay. The business that can best answer that question the most accurately is the business that will win. So just remember, when thinking about copywriting, running ads, creating angles or marketing hooks, like we're about to show you in a second, genuinely get creative. What truly deep down that sub avatar within your avatar is currently feeling. Agency owners aren't just experiencing the 1 through 3 things, right? One agency owner may be struggling to book calls. The other one is booking calls, but not quality ones, or they're booking a shit ton, can't get them to show. The other just had their wife leave them and now they're stressed. The other one just had a kid and is stressed if he can even make it happen because he just paid 10K to 2 coaching programs, right? Another just can't remove himself from the business. Another one's commoditized. That's all you're doing, okay? Create multiple angles and talk to multiple avatars within your one avatar. There's a famous marketing saying, if you talk to everyone, you talk to no one. Okay. And so when you're creating content, you're creating ads, the most important part you're going to focus on, which Ty is going to run you through, is creating those angles. Talk to multiple people within your market and not just one subsegment of it. Cool. And having said that, ladies and gents, let me introduce you all a top G, someone who's been in the game working with other massive agencies, someone who has also ran his own company. Some call him Mr. Studley. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Everybody drop some W's in the chat for my guy, Superman. Talk to the people, my brother.
Yo, yo.
Yo, yo.
I like to think of myself as more Batman vibes than Superman, but I think Serge already has all the prerequisites needed for Batman. So I'll take Superman.
Let's go.
All right. So now that Casey has very eloquently captured your attention, we are going to get into the tactics and the boring part of it. And the reason that this is going to be boring for a lot of you guys is because it is designed that way. Building a business takes boring work. Like Elon Musk says, you know, building a business is like chewing on glass and staring into the abyss. So one thing I want you guys to fully grasp though is you're getting literally $1 million worth of game here. So this is a step-by-step guide on how a $1 million a month agency develops a go-to-market strategy to launch an offer completely from scratch, right? So disclaimer here, there is no secret hack or shortcut to this. It is remarkable how low the bar is to beat everyone else and gain a competitive edge in the market if you simply put in the work up front and prepare. So the goal of this presentation and of this challenge in general is to reset your minimum standards for the amount of work and effort it truly takes to be great, to even be good these days, because the bar has gotten so low, especially with marketing agencies. Anybody can, you know, buy a $1,000 course and start their own SMMA. So what happens is the market becomes very efficient. And when a market becomes efficient, the more efficient a market is, the higher the bar gets raised on, you know, how good you have to be successful in that market. Right. So what we're giving you here is an inside look, and we're pulling back the curtains on how a team of A players, I know you guys are all here to see Serge, but even Serge would be the first one to tell you that this is not possible without a team of A players to pull this off. So people that you haven't even seen yet, people I'm sure that you're going to see in the coming weeks, from the client success team, Haisam, Issa, Brandon, myself, Casey, the operations team with Gills, Katie with systems, like these are all A players, and we're all giving you guys the secret sauce on how we, you know, build businesses and how we get such good results for our clients, right? So the best way to become a champion is to surround yourself with champions. And this community and then our adjacent programs like GCI and GCP, offers you access to a championship team of people operating at the highest level. And that is really the ultimate leverage for you guys, right? Because you're able to like circumvent thousands of hours and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in education, right? And you're able to circumvent that and get that in, you know, a few weeks or a few months of going through the course material on Circle, right? And so now that we've captured your attention, we need you to focus and we need to maintain that attention. So with that being said, we'll get started on step 1, which is the pre-launch. Now, I'm not going to go through the individual kind of like, here's where to go to set up your business manager, and here's how to like connect your Facebook page. So what I did to avoid making this a 6-hour long presentation is I included all of the links, and then I also included Loom videos. We have been recording our team Zoom calls for you guys, and we're putting all of this on the document so you can see kind of like behind the scenes on what it really takes to go to market with a strategy like this, you know, how we're ideating the different ad concepts, how we're developing the angles, how I'm setting up the ads, how we're going through the targeting, the ad creation process. All of that has been documented on the back end, and we recorded all of that for you guys. So we're gonna, first you need to set up your business manager. You need to make sure your business manager is verified. And one thing to remember is that like Meta is going to be your biggest ally, and it's going to be the biggest headache. Anybody that's been advertising on Facebook or Instagram for a long time can tell you, like, Meta is the most annoying platform to deal with because like everything seems broken all the time, but it's also the lowest barrier and most cost-effective lead generation and acquisition channels of all of the ones that I've been. So I've been in the game for 8 or 9 years. I've managed probably cumulatively about $30 to $40 million in ad spend across TikTok, Google, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Facebook is still by far the best in terms of lead generation and more cost effective and targeting. Everything is just better on Facebook, right? So with all the headaches that come with Meta, restricted accounts, rejected ads, hackers, glitches, the most terrible, worst support possible, you can simply avoid all of this by setting your business manager up properly on the onset before you launch your campaign. So you want to make sure your business manager is verified. You want to make sure that you have 2-factor authentication turned on. And again, I have trainings on all of this in Loom videos and recorded calls and all of that. Once you have that, you need to connect your GHL funnel. So Go High Level is, put a 1 in the chat really quick if you guys are using Go High Level or if you're using something else like ClickFunnels. Yeah, most people are using Go High Level. So Go High Level is by far the most effective CRM, and this is the one that we're going to be going to market with Brendan's offer for lead management, automation, all of that good stuff. So you want to, and then you want to create and design the funnel, the landing page of the funnel, the anatomy of a high converting landing page. You have your headline, you have your VSL, you have all of the, you know, case studies below that. And again, like it's pretty funny. So we have a Zoom call that Haisam and I recorded whenever we were setting up the landing page. And it's like you can see on the call itself that it's just the team puts together the landing page in such a way like it's so clear that it's not, you know, you don't have to be the best person in the world to set the landing page up. You just have to have all the case studies that you need. You need to connect your domain, set up your sales pipeline, connect your calendar, and then you should be good to go for the landing page. Tracking and attribution. So as a marketer, your #1 goal in digital marketing should be tracking and attribution. It should be the top of the list, right, of things that you focus your time on. data-driven decisions. By accurately and tracking user interactions, you can make informed decisions based on real data rather than assumptions. This helps in optimizing campaigns for better performance, right? So one thing that I want to kind of preface here for the tracking and attribution. As a marketer, you have to understand that like the tracking and attribution component of all of this is one of the most important parts, right? So there's different things you can do, like UTM parameters. You can use ClickBank, but one thing I did in here is I put together a Loom video for you guys on how to basically connect your ad account to the Go High Level calendar, right? So one of the things that you're going to need to figure out whenever you're setting up your tracking is identifying the bottlenecks, improving your accountability, and then make sure you're measuring all of your campaign performances and everything effectively. Right. So like I said, like I want to kind of give broad brushstrokes on setting up the pre-launch infrastructure side of this so that we can dig into market research. Right. Now, the final component of all this, like once you've set all of the infrastructure up and you have your Go High Level, you have your business manager set up, you have the tracking and attribution done, you want to run some tests. So I put together a Loom video for you guys on how to run your tests in the event manager, make sure that your lead form is mapped correctly in Go High Level. And then I have a link here where you can go and test out your lead form itself, right? So you can make sure that all the tests are going through. So here's one of the automations that I put together for the Discord. So anytime a lead comes through the lead form, it goes to Go High Level, it goes to Discord. Now, what we did for Brendan, we made sure that all of the, and what you got, if you guys are in the GCI or the GCP incubator, you'll get access to a Google spreadsheet, Google tracking sheet that's going to have a lead CRM in it. So the lead, once it fills the lead form out on Facebook, it's going to go to Discord. It's going to go to your lead CRM spreadsheet, and then it's also going to go High Level. So let me sit down real quick because now we're going to get into the nitty gritty of it.
The good stuff, the fun stuff. Let's go.
All right. So the research and development. I know I kind of brushed through the launch infrastructure for you guys, but like I said, I didn't want to make this a 5-hour long presentation, right? So research and development. So now that we've implemented now that we have the infrastructure set up, then next is the research and development phase. This is where we're going to dive deep into market research. We're going to fine tune our offer, brainstorm compelling ad angles, and craft a powerful campaign. This phase sets the stage for creating targeted, high-impact marketing strategies that resonate with our audience, right? So first step, market research. Then the next step that we did for Brendan was we developed an ICP for him, so an avatar profile. We then used all of this to create and ideate ad angles and ad concepts. And then we get into the final stage of it, which is developing the campaign. And I'll go through the ad account for you guys and show you guys what that looks like. So for market research, this is going to help you gather and analyze data about your industry, niche, and vertical. So what happens with an industry, right? You have like an industry as a whole, then you have a niche within that industry, and then you have a vertical within that niche. And then you can also go deeper into that and find subsegments of that vertical that can be super profitable for you. Because if you go after, say, the HVAC industry, the HVAC industry is so saturated right now that you are going to want to find a subsegment within that industry that's more profitable, right? So an example for HVAC would be, HVAC companies that do commercial retrofitting for, clean energy commercial retrofitting for commercial buildings. That would be an example of a subsegment within that niche. So
AKA, we don't know what it means, but
It sounds provocative. It sounds like a profitable niche.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Guys, the whole point of me getting everybody to come and present is to also make you guys realize that like I don't fucking know what retroactive HVAC and this and that means. I don't know. But as long as I have someone who can think through the idea, amazing. We keep moving, right? A lot of you guys right now are just you're not even I included. We're not making $1 billion a year because the amount of brain power you have to have thinking through all the problems that come up with business is so huge. Like without people around you in your company, guys, I don't care how many things you're gonna buy and like learn, you're not gonna move at the speed required fast enough to experience true freedom in this one lifetime. It's impossible. It is impossible, right? You guys need to figure out a way to find people who will know things about HVAC that you don't know. And I mean, it doesn't matter what niche you're in, but you need smart people around you. I just want to kind of like explain that and remind you guys of why we're even here in the first place. You guys are probably used to a lot of the webinars where it's just me talking and talking and talking, but like the company isn't made by search. It's not me. It's not me. I'm just putting things together, but like I'm not the one knowing stuff, you know? So anyway, keep going. Sorry for cutting you off, Ty.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that was super important. So that's why I mentioned in the very beginning of this, like having a team of A players. Like I've been in the agency space for 8 or 9 years now. I've had my own agency. I've been at a lot of other agencies ranging from the both ends of the spectrum, from startups all the way to like established companies. And the team of people that we have here is just so like levels above everything else that I've seen in the space, that I want to make sure that you guys fully understand, like us documenting all of this for you and giving you all of the strategies and techniques that we're using here is like you're getting literally like $1 million worth of game for whatever it was, $9.50 and then $47 a week. Like I saw on the Discord, there was a couple people asking for refunds for like the $47. They weren't sure. They didn't know that they were going to get charged $47. And it's like, Jesus Christ, guys, like, do you guys fully get what we're doing here? Like, so we're building a business from scratch in front of you guys live. Like this could completely fail, and Surge's entire reputation is on the line here. Like we're doing this for bragging rights, A, but then B, to also demonstrate that this is possible and that you guys can do this. So we'll get into market research here. So that, again, to avoid having this be a 6-hour long thing, I'm not going to go through each and every single one of these because this is a 15-page document. But what I did for you guys is at the very bottom of this, I put together some key takeaways and insights. So for Brendan's niche that we're going to be targeting with the sales enablement agency, we want to essentially map out what our TAM is, so what our total addressable market is. The online coaching industry is expected to grow and have a compounded annual growth rate of 13% from 2021 up until 2028. And one of the benefits of market research that you guys will see as you go through this, and then I put the template here for you guys as well. One of the things you're going to see is like this creates what Hormozi calls information asymmetry. So information asymmetry basically is whenever you're on a sales call, right? And Hormozi does this with gym owners. Like he knows by heart what the average take-home profit is of a gym owner. He knows what the equipment costs are. He knows what the overhead costs are. And so when you're talking to somebody on a sales call, like even after the 5 or 6 hours of market research that it took me to do this, I can get on a call with a coach and be like, okay, Mr. or Mrs. Coach, one of your objections is like my market is too saturated. I can go in and be like, the coaching industry, the online coaching industry is expected to grow at, a 6 to 12% year over year growth rate. It's going to have a compounded annual growth rate of 13%. I promise you, this is a, between consulting services, the online learning, e-learning market, and the coaching industry, this is a $50 billion plus a year industry just in the United States. I promise you, your market isn't saturated. You don't have a market saturation problem. You have you have a marketing and sales problem, essentially, right? And that's basically what information asymmetry is supposed to do on a sales call. And that's what going through and putting the work in to do all of this, does for you. So the point of the market research is to A, identify all of that, B, to get a understanding of the landscape of the market as a whole. And then at the bottom here, you have something I took from Russell Brunson's book, Traffic Secrets, which is your Dream 100. So the Dream 100 is supposed to identify where your target market congregates online. So you have to figure out what are the top websites and forums that these people use. Like, it doesn't matter what your niche is. It can be, dentists. I guarantee you there are forums online where you can go find conversations that dentists are having, and then you can kind of reverse engineer based off of those conversations what the common problems and bottlenecks and constraints that they're facing are, because a lot of the times it's going to be something different than what you might think. So you have to do that research up front, or else you're going to pay that tax on the back end in your marketing and in your ad spend, because you're going to have to iterate and you're going to have to test much longer and much more to find that messaging that's going to resonate with your market. So forums, websites, active Facebook groups. So here, and I put this as a footnote at the bottom, could be very interesting for us to run with Brendan's offer, is I found I found about 8 Facebook groups that have 2,000 to 5,000 members in it, and it's all coaching Facebook groups. So what you could do is you could have a setter, for example, go in, join these groups, figure out what the common problems that they're talking about in the group are, and then you can use that as an additional acquisition channel. You want to list out all of the influencers and social media personalities within the niche that you're targeting, so that, again, you can do more market research. You can come up with ad ideas. You can come up with angles, podcasts, newsletters, YouTube channels. So you want to do all of this. And then some of the key takeaways from this that I took was, so that the total addressable market for the coaching industry, $50 billion plus. You have 3 segments. Essentially, you have coaching, consulting services, and then you have e-learning platforms like school. The average online B2B coach is only making 25 to 75K a year. One of the big trends in the coaching market right now is specialized niche coaching. Also, something that they're expected to see grow over the next few years is AI metaverse coaching is going to be a trend that they're predicting that's going to be growing over the next decade. One of the things that I've also found through the market research is there's a major decline in trust due to so many coaches coming into the market. So between 2019 and 2022, the online coaching industry saw like a 62% explosion in growth, and that's because of COVID and the lockdowns and all of that. And that growth has been steadily inclining over the last like 3 years since the lockdowns. And you have so many coaches that are coming into the market right now that you're seeing a lot of lack of trust on the consumer side, which is why a lot of these coaches are jumping on platforms like School, where you can do value posts and case studies and stuff like that to nurture the leads prior to closing them. And then that's the second point down here, which is online coaching platforms like School are expected to see continued growth as the youth opts out of traditional educational institutions. And then I have here that these Facebook groups that I found in the market research can be valuable to us in the next week or so moving forward. So once you're done with the market research component, you want to take that and kind of parlay that into your ICP or your avatar profile. So again, I have the template here for you guys, and then the one that we actually made for Brendan's offer. So this cheat sheet is going to help you dial in your offer, messaging and using your market research to create your ICP or avatar. So in Russell Brunson's book and Traffic Secrets, he talks about a scenario where he was in like a board meeting with some business, and he was pitching them this thing that he wanted to do, and the lady in the board in the meeting was like, no, Sally wouldn't like that. And then he would say something else, and then the lady would be like, no, I don't think Sally's really going to be on board with that. And then finally Russell Brunson was like, you know, am I talking to the decision makers here? Like, who is Sally? And the lady's like, Sally is our ICP. She's our ideal customer. And what you'll see is like all of the biggest businesses, whether it's Gymshark, whether it's Nike, whoever it is, they all have an ICP or an avatar that they focus their messaging around, right? So one of the ways that we come up with this, and what I did with Brendan's offer, is you want to list out, and this is essentially designed to be like a brain dump, right? So we need to identify the avatar's current situation. Then we want to identify what their dream situation looks like. And then the bridge to get them from their current situation to their dream situation is our offer, essentially. So describe our avatar. His name is Christian, 25 years old. A basic kind of rundown of how Christian got to the point that he's at, how much money he's currently making. And then the next step is to list out all of the bottlenecks, all of the problems that we can think of that Christian might be dealing with. And then what we want to do after that is we want to find 3 to 5 common core problems that we're going to focus our messaging around, and write a deeper 3 to 5 sentence summary around those problems. So burnout, growth is capped, it can't scale, lead quality, they're not good at sales, and then working in the business instead of on the business. Then we get to the desired situation. So now that we have the current situation mapped out, we want to identify where our avatar wants to go, like what their dream situation looks like. So then we go through that same process, list out all of the current desires that the avatar faces: more time, more sales, revenue growth, more freedom. Then same process again, identify 3 to 5 common core desires, and then write a deeper 3 to 5 sentence summary around each of those. So they want more time, more freedom, faster growth. Unique selling proposition. So this is where we bridge the gap essentially from current situation to desired situation. And then you want to map out basically what that looks like. So write a long, unorganized brain dump paragraph arguing why your offer is unique. Sales system places talent. Talent placement offer is exceptionally unique, blah, blah, blah. One of the standout features of our offer is the transformation of a commoditized offer into a high value proposition. We help businesses redefine their offer. We address the low close rates, low show rates. Our offer is essentially solving all of the bottlenecks that a business faces, which makes it so desirable for all of these businesses that we're targeting. So a lot of these companies are only targeting one bottleneck, which is like, you know, lead generation or talent placement. We're taking the entire infrastructure and we're deconstructing where all the constraints and the bottlenecks in their business are, and then we're solving each one of those through a build and release offer. Then we want to list out 3 important points in the current situation. So 3 major pain points: lead quality, inefficient sales process, founder is too heavily involved in the sales process, and then write a sentence explanation of that. The bridge. So the bridge is essentially, we want to map out what the customer journey looks like. So literally from the point that they see our ad to the LTV of the customer, and what the TTV of the customer is, the time to value. So they click on the ad, our team opts into their funnel as part of the sales process audit. They jump on a sales process audit call. We close them, we onboard them. Phase 1, clarity, week 1 through 2. Phase 2, build and release infrastructures. Phase 3, optimization and fractional sales. And then we go through the desired situation. 3 major pain points. Again, we map these out, write a 1-sentence explanation of each of these. And then you have the transformation at the very end of this, and then the transformation proof, which is the case studies that we have for the offer. Now, at the end of this, what you want to do, and this is something Hormozi did in his book launch, is he basically took each key feature of the individual thing that you're offering and then map out what the price point of that feature is. And then at the end of it, he says, I'm not going to charge you whatever it is, $63,000. Our offer is only $15,000. So it just anchors the price in the prospect's mind. So like if they individually went to somebody to get a complete audit of their sales process, that would cost them $500 to $600. If they individually went to a consultant to consult them on their offer, it's going to cost them roughly $2,000. If they individually went to somebody to help them with their lead flow, that's going to be about $3,000 a month. On a 90-day program, that's going to be $9,000. If they individually went to somebody for systems infrastructure, that's going to be about $10,000. If they individually got somebody for hired talent as a systems integrator, that's going to be about $21,000. So $7,000 a month times 90 days. And then same thing for a trained appointment setter, and same thing for a trained closer. That comes out to what the total is. And then the total price of our offer doesn't seem as expensive at that point. And then what I did for you guys that have access to this document is at the bottom of this, you have ChatGPT prompts where you can essentially copy paste these into ChatGPT and then paste all of the information that you inputted in the document, and then ChatGPT will spit you out an avatar profile. It'll give it a name. It'll give it like a whole background. It'll do like a whole profile of the avatar for you. So once we've completed the market research and avatar profile section, we move on to the ad angles. So this is where we ideate different concepts for the ads that we're going to be running. Now, one of the things that we do for whenever we're developing video scripts is we do content blocking. So what content blocking essentially is like you take multiple different hooks, you film them separately, you write out an evergreen body / call to action, and then you plug them together, and then you test out different pain points in the hooks. And then I'll show you what that looks like here. So this is the one that we did for Brendan's offer. So for the angles, this is essentially just a brain dump at the beginning. So what is the opportunity cost of not investing in your sales process? Levels of growth, 0 to 50K a month. The founder takes all the calls. 50 to 100K a month. Founder must remove themselves from the hiring process or from the sales process and hire salespeople who can execute at or above the same level. And then, how frustrated are they that they're taking sales calls instead of working on the business and working on more of a strategic component of the business? Is your offer good enough to attract good salespeople? So this is where we audit their offer. If you're a high ticket coach who's also an elite salesperson, congratulations, you're in the top 0.1%. But for the rest of you, if you have a good offer, maybe even some, case studies, you're good at marketing, an enormous amount of money is being left on the table without an elite sales team and an elite sales process. Being forced to charge low ticket or give discounts in order to close deals. So these are all just kind of, a brain dump bullet points of different kind of concepts that we want to structure our ads around to see if something is going to resonate with our audience, right? So the winners that we came up with are: the founder is closing himself. He wants to get out of the sales process. Whether you're sick of wasting your days on sales calls or your closers are wasting tens of hundreds of thousands every month on sales calls. Every sales script works 90%, 95% of the time. The problem is who is on the call, how did they get on the call, and why are they on the call? And a lot of the agencies that are just blaming lead quality for the fact that they're not scaling or they're not growing, when in fact it's their sales process that is the problem. And then giving discounts in order to close deals. So from there, like once we have the angles and the concepts that we're going to run with, we develop the ad copy. So this is the primary text that's going to go on the ad. We have a few different variations of this. So what we can do is you can run a dynamic copy on the ad account, and then you can measure the click-through rate on, copy 1, which is short form, or copy 2, which is long form. You can measure what the cost per click or the click-through rate is on either one of those. Same thing with the headlines. And then, like I mentioned a minute ago here, this is how we map out the video scripts. So you have the body and the call to action. What if I told you we just helped Augustine go from 20K a month to 150K a month, and then you go into what the deliverables are and what the offer is and the call to action, and then basically we have these 4 winning ad angles that we came up with at the beginning of the document, and these are going to be our hooks. And we basically plug each one of those hooks in, film them separately, plug them into the body and call to action, and then we run with those. Then after you have the ad angles completed, you get into the campaign development. So I film myself setting the campaign up. If you guys want to know like which individual targeting options we use, like how to structure the campaign, all of that stuff is in this video recording here. But I'll give you guys kind of a brief overview of it. So for P1, for the launch, what we really want to do is just demonstrate product market fit, and we want to validate our offer. So we basically run with a very simplified version of the ad, and then we basically want to measure like what the cost per lead is, what the cost per click is, what the click-through rate is, etc. Right? And then I'll give you guys a look at what that looks like here. So when we launched the campaign, I think we've launched it about 36 hours ago, 48 hours ago, and we already got some leads that came through. But what I've noticed here is that there's no appointments that got booked from the leads that came through yet. So what we have to do is we have to reverse engineer where the leak in the sales funnel is. So from lead to booked call, there's a leak somewhere within that. So maybe we have to adjust the lead form or the landing page that the people are going to after they fill the lead form out. And on the ad account itself, here's how I mapped it out. So we have one campaign, we have our warm-up ads, basically. So the warm-up ads, if you guys don't know, is when you launch a campaign from a brand new ad account, you need to have a certain number of verified payments that have gone through, or else like if you have a campaign that you launch with 3 ads and 2 of those ads get rejected, you have like a 95% rejection rate. So when you launch warm-up ads, and they can just be simple like profile visit ads, what you do is you demonstrate the fact that you've gotten all of these ads have been approved. So then when you launch your main campaign, even if 1 or 2 of those ads get rejected, you don't run into an issue with them just basically like blackballing your ad account and then just rejecting all of the subsequent ads that you launch, right? So for phase 1, we have the different static images separated out by theme. So we have the notes, we have the Lucid chart ads, and then we have the Twitter ads, and then we have the video ads broken up by the different hooks. So we have version 1, which is just Brendan going through the full script. And then version 2, which is we have a hook, an attention grabber at the very beginning of the video, which is Brendan has his dog, and then he's kind of like going through like talking to his dog, and then he goes into the same exact hook and body. And what we've seen is like the version 2 with hook 1 and body 1 has lead costs at almost half of what version 1, hook 1 and body 1 has. And then same thing, static images, we do a dynamic creative for the static image ads, and we have multiple versions of the same notes format. And then if you guys want access to the Canva templates, I have that here. And then it's basically just like a plug and play for notes, for Twitter format. And then we have Lucid chart ads and stuff in there too that you can run. Cool. So the next component of it is creative testing. So creative testing is the most important aspect of media buying, especially on Meta. So Meta did it in a meta analysis, so double meta, of the top 0.1% of advertisers on the platform, and found that the top 0.1% of advertisers creative test 11 times more than everybody else. So the testing process essentially allows you to put the right message in front of the right people, and then you need to measure all of the metrics of the videos or the images that you're testing so that you can use that in the iteration process here. So you test, you measure acquisition, cost per book call, cost per lead, CPMs, click-through rate, cost per click, and then you cut your losers, you scale your winners, collect data on the winners, and then use that data to develop your next generation of ads. So what we have done for the creative testing is I made a creative testing base, and you can do this in like Trello. I did it in Airtable because we use Airtable. You can do this in ClickUp as well, which is basically like a board where you upload all of your creatives. So I already have the next generation of ads that are getting ready to be tested here. And then all the ones that are in progress, and then you drag over the winners, you drag over the losers, so on and so forth, right? Next, one of the questions I got, so I did a little bit of the same way Casey demonstrated on you guys the importance of like hooking you in. I demonstrated the importance of market research. So I put out a post in the NBL community a couple days ago asking you guys to DM me a lot of the questions that you had around media buying. And one of the main questions I keep getting is like, how do you scale your spend? So there's no real, black or white way to scale your spend. A lot of marketers do it differently. Me personally, I like to scale my winners vertically in the ad set versus horizontally. So what scaling vertically versus horizontally means is like, you have your campaign, then you have your ad sets. When you have your winning ad sets, instead of adding budget to the winners, you just duplicate them and scale them up. Because what I've seen is like when you give an ad set too much money, Facebook gets very irresponsible with how they spend that money. And then your cost per lead ends up suffering, right? So one of the other ways you can do it is you scale horizontally by creating a CBO winners campaign. And then you can basically just Command V or Command C, Command V, copy paste the winning ad sets from your ABO into your CBO. And then I put together a whole kind of Loom training on exactly what that looks like in the ad account and how to structure that. And then that's basically the end of phase one. So the reason I titled this going from 0 to 1 is because going 0 to 1 requires so much more work than going from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 4 to 8, whatever, right? So once you get all of that work done up front, going from 1 to 2 is much easier than going from 0 to 1. So with that being said, I think Casey had something else he wanted to mention to you guys, and I'll end this component of it and let Casey talk.
Let's go. So before we close this out, like last 2 minutes, first things first, if you found some value in what Ty just shared, drop a W in the chat for the man, the myth, the legend himself. Ty, you crushed that, bro. Absolutely crushed that. Hopefully you guys are getting a pulse on genuinely what goes on behind the scenes that you need to do, right? I always tell people it's always the boring shit that's the most important that most people don't actually do. So hopefully that gives you guys an example of what actually goes into it, right? Do the boring shit. The boring shit is what pays off. And guess who doesn't do it? Most people. And guess who doesn't see success? Most people, right? So let's wrap this up. Last 2 minutes. Share my screen, and then I will hand it over to you, Serge. Now, can anybody remember at the very beginning what I told you all to remember? Some people are paying attention today. Let's go. Okay. Yes, the apple. What is the significance of the apple? Can anybody guess? Again, it's the last 2 minutes and we're ending this thing. It's tasty. That's one thing. This apple, why? This is super important. I want you guys to truly compartmentalize this. We just walked through some stuff today, but like that apple is the significance of this apple. It's also the significance of Tesla. That apple has the same thing to do with this graph. innovation. I promise y'all right now, you guys will not copy and paste your way to 7 figures, right? You guys can go watch the recording, like Serge didn't show you the video, good. But like, even if you did, what do most people do? They just go copy the video. You guys, I promise you, you will not copy and paste your way to 7 figures. You have to be able to think outside of the box. You have to be able to think for yourself, or you will never see success, genuinely, okay? And I pulled this graph up for a perfect example. Why? You see? The more you what? The more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. Okay? And if you don't, 9 to 5 for you. Alrighty? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, class is dismissed. If you guys found some value in that, again, drop some W's in the chat, and Serge, I will let you take it over from there, my brother.